Hey guys, what's up? Good morning. It's Isaac with the GTE Event Group, and I have a special guest with me, Gina from RSVP. And today she's going to share with us a little bit about RSVP, what they do over there, and pretty much how to shop for invitations, right?
Yep.
All right. So first question I have for you: how long have you been in the business?
This will be our 16th year in business. We opened December of 2003, and we started with invitations, and we hit every single bridal show up and down the valley
Right.
for the first several years that we were open, and that's how we started. We started with an invitation shop, doing mostly just like for family and friends. When we were very young, my sister and I got started. We used to sell invitations out of our mom's jewelry store, and when she was building a building and said, "You guys want to sell invitations out of the new building?" We were like, "Yeah, that sounds like fun."
Right.
And so RSVP was born, and we started with just small party invitations, birthdays, anniversaries, special occasions like that. And then we found that there was a big need for it in the wedding industry in Fresno, and we hit it heavy and started growing our business that way.
Very cool.
Yeah.
If I remember right, you guys used to host your own wedding shows.
That is true. That is a true statement. We did bridal shows for a long time. We were like, you know what? We can do this ourselves.
Right.
And at the time, we had a building filled with wedding and event vendors. So we had a bridal dress store. We had photographer. We had us, obviously, invitations and fine jewelry, or family jewelry company. And then over time, we also developed a floral branch of our company, Stems. And so through that and event coordination and all the other elements, we pulled who we thought were the best in Fresno.
Which you did.
Which you did. You were a part of that, right?
No, I wasn't. I was kind of new to the business, but I do remember going to your show. One, it felt extremely elegant.
Thank you.
And because I was starting in the business, I realized everyone you guys pulled in was a quality, maybe a high-end vendor. Like, yeah, if you wanted to build a dream team, you would go to one of your shows.
I remember you being in the circuit, Isaac.
Yeah.
I remember you being in there.
I was kind of I was new to the industry at the time.
We did that for a minute, and then we had some change in the tenants in the building, and with that we evolved our collections a little bit, and moved on. We went back to the Premier Bridal Show, which is you know of course happens a couple times a year. And they pull an amazing collection of vendors and an amazing reach for brides across the entire Central Valley. It's not just Fresno. So
very cool, very cool. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the products that RSVP has to offer.
So products that RSVP has to offer, we could literally sit here all day.
Okay.
So
well, let's start with this. I'm sure that if someone is just newly engaged, and they picked out their date, they're probably wondering, when do I send out save the dates?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So I'm going to surprise you and say that not everybody needs to send save the dates, actually.
What did they send? Text messages? I'm just kidding.
No. Don't misunderstand. No text, no evites. Those are two bad words, okay?
Okay.
We don't suggest save the dates for everybody. For the people I suggest it for are two different scenarios. A, you're getting married in a highly impacted time of year, like Labor Day, Memorial Day, May, June, graduation season, and also like the tip of wedding season, where there's just so many events that you have to give people a heads up. Or, and of course the holidays. November, December is a super impacted time for everybody. You have to be cognizant of the time of year you're setting your wedding date. And if it's busy, send a save the date so people have time to plan for it. Also, number two, if you're traveling, if you have a destination wedding, or even if you don't have a destination wedding, but all of your family lives in another city or another state, they have to take time to plan for it. Save the dates should be sent 4 to 6 months before your wedding date, if you're sending them. And you want to send not just something basic necessarily that says who you are and your wedding date and the city you're getting married in, but you want to send hotel recommendations and their phone numbers and websites so that they can make those reservations and have time to plan.
You're very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So save the dates isn't for everyone. Okay. So what about the actual invitations? When should the invitations go out?
Invitations should go out 8 to 10 weeks before your wedding date. And how soon should you place your order for your invitations? That depends on what kind of invitation you're ordering. I mean,
all right.
You have to start to pull ideas for your wedding and consider your personal style, your fiance's personal style. What kind of wedding do you want? Are you getting married in a church? Are you getting married outdoors? Are you getting married at the beach? Everybody does something different. Everybody has their own unique personality and things that they want to pull in to reflect them and their families and the way that they want to celebrate. And your invitation should reflect that. Your invitation is the first introduction to what your guests can expect for your wedding day. It says the type of wedding that you're having. It says, the type of couple that you are. It says the type of attire you should expect to wear. It just sets the tone from the very beginning, and it gets your guests excited. And that's exactly what it should do if you send a proper invitation.
Okay. Now, speaking about setting the tone with the invitation, I know you brought a few examples. I think right now is kind of
good time.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I brought a variety of invitations, not just wedding, but like I said, invitations should excite people. It should get your guests ready for what's to come. And so the invitations that I brought are just like not.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. It's all gold foil. The invitations I brought are not just traditional printed invitations. I brought a variety of things. This was, a birthday party, but you can see with the gold foil press, it's like you open it and it's like pop.
Yeah.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, if I got one of these, it's kind of like I don't even have to read it. I kind of want to go.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do feel like that with this thing in my hand.
And so by the way, a lot of people, they are worried about their guest count. I can tell you, when you send an invitation from RSVP, you can expect a high RSVP rate of yes. Because people get their invitations, they're like, I'm not missing that party.
You guys hear that? Your invitations are more important than I even knew. This is great stuff.
This is really cool. This is a wooden invitation. It's actual wood. It's all laser etched into the wood panel. And, this is reflective of a wine dinner. And, it's very masculine vibes. It's obviously a men's birthday invitation.
Yeah.
And so you get something like that and you're like, wow, that's cool. And it's a keepsake. People don't throw things like this away.
No, not at all.
This is super cool. This is a bridal shower invitation. Very zazzy.
What's that, like little
gold, little bling.
That's the camera show.
The RSVP
That's really
special.
Cool. That is so cool. All right.
We have, this is really pretty. So in our invitations, you'll see a lot of different types of press. There are things like engraving and letterpress and foil press, and these are the most traditional types of print. And so when you see an invitation that uses these types of press, that just signifies it's very special and a little bit more traditional. Those are all different things we do at RSVP.
I don't know if the camera's like really getting the elegance of these invitations, but man, these things are impressive.
Yeah,
and they feel so good.
Yeah, makes a difference. This is super cool. Look at that one. That's on acrylic, and you can like kind of see through it. This vinyl overlay is like over the top of a colored acrylic.
Hey, I remember this.
Yeah? You did this party. That's right.
I remember. This was the invitation for that party?
That was the invitation for that party.
We had Lee Bucks, if I remember right.
Yeah, you do. Yep. You remember that correctly. And I remember that party. You had actually, with the performance DJ, like live instruments with it. That was cool. Yeah. And it was almost before the time of that. You hear like Clay Gandhi, that DJ that uses like the music. You were right before them in using that. I love that.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that was one heck of a party. I will not forget that party.
So this is super cool. This is a gift that this customer wanted to send. And it says, share this special moment in time. Please save the date.
Okay.
And then when you open this, there's a pocket watch in there. And so that was part of the save the date.
That is awesome. Everyone got one of those?
Everyone got one of these. And fun story about this invitation. We've been doing invitations for a long time, and obviously we have a lot of fun doing this, and we take pride in all the projects that we do.
What's it say?
It says the wedding date.
October 5th.
Yeah, save the date.
Very cool.
But this particular customer of mine, she had been coming to me for years, and it was kind of out of character how late in the game she came to us. But she did, and I told her this. It seems funny that you're so late in the game. This is so unlike you. She goes, honestly, I went to Beverly Hills to the celebrity stationer that everybody uses. And I thought that that's what I should do. And I worked with them for a little bit, and I thought to myself, I just want to go back to RSVP.
Really?
And to me, that was the highest compliment for somebody that could literally go anywhere and get whatever they want. And
Right.
they came back to little Fresno, and
Right.
and we worked with them, and we created an amazing wedding suite. This was the beginning of it, where they sent this pocket watch for the save the date. There was a custom illustration of their wedding venue, and then all of the details that,
Yeah, that is.
were leading up to the wedding. And their wedding invitation was, just as magnificent, as were all of the accessories like menus, programs, place cards. We actually made custom favors that matched a lot of the elements that we did for the other print. So it was a really special
Got it. So
project that we got to work
hopefully
on.
most of you guys just caught that. They do more than just save the dates and invitations. They can make everything match. All the stationery at a wedding match. And man, this is.
And it's not just paper is the point. We've looked in the last few samples that we've looked through. We've seen wood, we've seen acrylic, we've used fabric on invitations before. There's just a lot of different elements and textiles and materials that can be used. And I'm going to show you another invitation that you may be familiar with. This one, how cool is this? Leather wrap around the side, sealed with a wax seal, all printed and addressed, and each one of these is wrapped.
Right.
And you did this wedding. I don't know if you remember this one up here in the hills. Or Patrick. Patrick did. But Good Times Entertainment.
Oh yeah. That was just.
This was the Yosemite wedding we just got finished with.
Yeah, a few in October or something, right?
Yep.
Okay, I remember.
So this was a remarkable invitation too. We did a full illustration of the valley floor in Yosemite, which is, an iconic scene. And this was on acrylic, which is super cool.
That is really cool. Here, I'm gonna lift this up, make sure the camera gets that. We got the Yosemite in the background. That is really, really cool.
And all these, custom lines that created the vibe of that boho chic look that you have up there at Tenaya Lodge. It was a very fun and unique celebration. Not a lot of brides and grooms are comfortable with going outside of the box for their invitations, but when we have somebody that, is okay with going with their own personal style, it makes it really fun to create with them.
This is inside of this?
That's correct.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What else you got for us?
Well, I brought a foil press die line because a lot of people find this fascinating. This is a solid piece of copper, and that is
20 pounds.
Yeah, you could lift weights with that thing. It's a good example of what goes in to the detail work of a pressed invitation. And so I mentioned the most traditional types of press might be engraving or foil or letterpress. This is how it starts, with a heavy weight die line like this, and the large machinery that you think back super old school, a Heidelberg press that they printed the first book with. This is the kind of thing that they used, and so it's extremely tedious to create stuff like this, and just really unique. And so a lot of people appreciate the details that go into that, and the handwork and craftsmanship.
Yeah, most definitely
comes along with it.
I like that. And see, you got a serial number on there.
Yeah.
So how many of these do you have at your office?
God. Luckily, they're not stored at my office, so that's really nice. There are so many.
I bet.
You can imagine how many invitations we've done over the course of 16 years. It's extensive.
Yeah, that's a lot. Most definitely. All right. So, you want to show the rest you got there? Or?
Yeah, these are just other fun party invitations. You can see this is a reflective overlay that goes over it.
It's popping out.
Yeah, so it kind of pops out. There's so many different things we can do to invitations. It's just a matter of, letting us get creative with it. And you really have to be cognizant of what you're wanting as far as your vibe and to reflect to your guests. And with that, we're able to create something unique each time. So
what do you advise people to do in regards to, when should they start thinking about invitations? I think you mentioned it earlier, but one more time.
We suggest that you come in for wedding invitations in particular about 4 to 5 months before your wedding date. Gives plenty of time for specifically invitations. Save the dates is another ballpark because you want to send those out 4 to 6 months before your wedding date.
Okay.
For regular party invitations, you have a lot of other events that are happening during the course of your wedding, celebrating year. So you have bridal showers, you have a bachelorette party, you have a rehearsal dinner. All of those events are like a typical celebration that you want to send the invitations 4 to 5 weeks before those event dates.
And I think you mentioned earlier before we got started that a lot of these answers to questions people might have, like, hey, when do I send out invitations for my bridal shower?
Yeah.
They can find that on your website?
We have it on our website. Yeah, we have a list of frequently asked questions on our website. And timeline is, of course, very important. Other common questions that we see are about addressing of envelopes and the etiquette for that.
Okay.
And the etiquette in the verbiage for the invitation. A lot of people, until they're getting married and planning a wedding, they don't realize that there is a very specific order to the verbiage that goes on a wedding invitation. Why are parents' names at the top of it? How do we address that we're only inviting 2 people instead of 8 people for this invitation?
Right.
And there's a lot of customizations that happen in regard to that so that you get what you're wanting from your guests, and we advise on those different things. Of course, they're in our frequently asked questions, and
I'm sure you get this question a lot. Like, I want my wedding to be adults only.
Yeah.
Should I put on my invitations?
Yeah.
Please no kids.
You can.
Yeah.
You can do that. A lot of people use the phrase adult reception to follow the ceremony. A lot of people do a personalized RSVP card, and I actually brought an example of that.
Sure.
So your envelope should designate who is invited, right?
Okay.
So if I'm inviting you to a wedding, your envelope would say Mr. and Mrs. Isaac Atkinson, right?
Right.
I'm not inviting your children though.
Okay.
So if I would say the Isaac Atkinson family. And that would designate that your children are included. But a lot of people might get a Mr. and Mrs. Isaac Atkinson, and they might say, I'm going to bring my 3 kids along also. So to remedy that, we personalize reply cards to the tune of saying 2 seats are reserved in your honor. Or 5 seats are reserved in your honor. Whatever the case is, each reply card could be customized. You see that here. This is a highly customized reply card because they were traveling and they had shuttle information on here and menu choices on here. So there are a lot of details, but you can see this top line right here. It says how many people are invited, and it leaves the room for them to write their names in.
That is really cool. That is a great way.
So this eliminates all confusion about who exactly is invited, and is it adults or is it children, and what the case is. And so those are customizations that we can do. It's just coming to a personal stationer. Part of the benefit of that, as opposed to ordering online, is that you get etiquette advice and personalized, attention, so that you have answers to these questions and you address these things up front, so that you don't end up with 30 extra people coming to your wedding, or you don't know how to tactfully address these things. That's what we're here for, is to guide you accordingly.
Very cool.
And then also the verbiage on the invitation. A lot of people say things like, together with our families, we invite you to celebrate the wedding of. And so in an instance like that, maybe there's divorced parents, or maybe somebody's passed, and you don't want to highlight those things. You want to keep it general. That's etiquette. That's verbiage guidelines that we help you with. When you see the parents' names at the top of the invitation, Mr. and Mrs. Tom Jones invite you to celebrate the marriage of their daughter. That top line of the parents' names indicates that Mr. and Mrs. Tom Jones are hosting the wedding. That's the inviting line. And so they are inviting you to celebrate, meaning they're hosting. That can get sticky because, it's hard to talk about the finances of who's paying for what, and you want to make sure everybody's included. And, so where do the groom's parents go? And are they contributing? And so those are details that we talk about with you in person.
Right.
And it can be a sensitive subject. And so, you want to tactfully address it with your parents also. And that's part of our proofing process, is we'll actually set it up a couple different ways, because once you see it laid out, it's a lot easier to digest and see what everybody's comfortable with and things like that. So that design proofing phase matters to make sure everybody's comfortable with where you're at and what you're getting.
Gina, man, that insight was so powerful. I've talked to people who've done invitations, and no one has ever broken it down like
Really?
that. Oh, I'm sold.
Well, come on. Well, you were going to the wrong places all that time. What are you doing, Isaac?
No, you know what? It just, me, I just like to talk with people about what they do.
Yeah.
And just to know, and no one's ever broken it down like that. That is, I'm sold.
Yeah. There's a lot of details, and that's why you come to somebody personalized. You don't just go online.
Right, most definitely. I totally understand.
Yeah.
Hey, if anyone wants to come in and visit you guys, why don't you tell everyone where you guys are located?
We are in the Palatine building on the northwest corner of Fresno and Alluvial. If you're familiar with Fresno, right on 41 on the other side of the freeway from River Park. We are in a very exclusive location, and aside from invitations, which is how we started in our business, we have everything from, we have fine jewelry, we have full bridal and gift registry.
Stems
is a department of RSVP. We do beautiful flowers and full event design and coordination. And so
amazing weddings.
Yep, that was this wooden invitation from Yosemite. That was a RSVP Good Times Entertainment collaboration. We love that, and
that was more them. They just brought us along for their journey, and I'm grateful.
That's all right. We'll say full collab. And yeah, so we have regular store hours. We're open Tuesday through Saturday. For invitations, of course, we recommend making an appointment so that you're guaranteed the time. But like I said, it's a super personalized process. You're not just like clicking and this is what I'll take, and it's kind of a gamble, what you're getting. If I had a nickel for every bride that sat in front of me crying because she received something different than what she thought she ordered, it's a personalized process so that you know exactly what you're getting. And that's actually part of our proofing process, is you see a full mock-up of your invitation before we go ahead with everything.
Got it. And
so you're in full control, and you know where to find us.
Yeah, most definitely. What about Instagram and the web?
Instagram is it's RSVP Style is our handle, and rsvp-style.com is our website, and it's a lot on our website because we have full bridal and gift registry. Like I said, we have boutique departments, if you will, for like gifting and home decor. We do interior design. We have a lot of products and services, basically. So once you start with your wedding, you're with us for life. Now we get to help you with everything else.
Most definitely. And their building is beautiful. Hopefully someday I find GTE in the building.
Yeah, we'll carve out some space for you.
Hey guys, I'm Isaac Atkinson with the GTE Event Group. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gina, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I learned a ton. I know they learned a ton. And guys, if you have any questions,
come see me.
Yes, come see Gina.
Yes.
She'll take care of you guys. Other than that, you guys have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next video.